This video is brought to you by DistroKid.
Hi, I'm Ash. Welcome back to my channel, and we're gonna answer a few of your questions. So a few months ago, I put up these posts, and because I'm so good at time management, I am just now getting around to these on a very timely manner. Let's go. What is my favorite stock plugin from FL? I was gonna skip that one. Dorian asks, how much time on average do you spend on a project? Do you think it's important to focus on how much time you spend on a project? Sometimes I've had projects that come together in like literally a day, super fast. Something like this. And sometimes it just takes forever to get a song together. For example, the Skrillex Goodbye to a World, that one took me about 2 months because I had to get every little detail right. But I think the more important thing to take away from that, no matter how long it takes for you to finish a project, you want to focus more on actually getting the project finished or getting a song finished, because the more songs you complete or the more songs that you put out or consider finished, the better you're going to get at production, because you can just move on to the next thing rather than lingering on one thing for too long. A good rule I like to use is what I call the 70% rule, which means if you get it to at least 70% finished, then I consider that a win or enough to move on to the next thing. Because especially if you're just getting started, your first like 100 songs are gonna suck. I don't care who you are. Like my first songs totally sucked. If you can get through those first 100, then you'll be on your way to getting better. So how much time on average do I spend on a project? Depends. Sometimes it takes me a long freaking time, and sometimes it just comes together in a day. So the more important thing is not so much spending too much time on a project and finishing your projects instead. How to make your song sound higher? And how old is my cat? Oh, perfect timing, Tomato. Can you tell him how old you are? Tomato, tell him how old you are. I'm Tomato. I'm 4 years old. Yeah, that's right. You're still a little baby. I think you're almost 5, right? Oh my God. How to make your song sound higher? I think you might be asking sound higher as in volume, because sounding higher can be like notes higher or I'm assuming volume. And one of the best ways to do that is to just balance your mix. Make sure your mix down is super clean. And the best way to get that is to focus on your low end. So if you've got a lot of kicks and bass, get those to be the loudest part of your mix and then mix everything around that. If you're able to control how well your kicks and your sub bass play off of each other, you're gonna find that you can start to push everything a little bit louder. I'm a baby Ableton user. Do you need plugins? What are vocal plugins? What are your favorites? Do you need plugins? Honestly, no. Just use the Ableton stock stuff. There's so much you can do with them. Even me, I don't really use a lot of third-party plugins unless it does come to vocals. So my vocal plugins, I generally use the Waves ones because I like their EQ and compressor presets. But other than that, everything is stock. My favorite plugins: Erosion, OTT, Saturator. I've been learning Corpus. That's been really fun making basses, but it's always something new. Things that separate pro producers from amateur producers. Getting songs finished, like I said earlier. Your cat photo. She's still down there, but we'll bring her up at some point again. No question, just a huge fan of Laugh Again. Absolutely my favorite song recently. Culture. Thank you. One of my favorite songs I've ever written. I should definitely do a video for it or something. Holy. Lamau, how old is your cat? We just went over this. Oscar, I just bought Ableton. I have no idea where to begin. Any suggestions? That question is actually really hard to answer because normally it's like you want to just dive in there and I could easily just say, oh, just make some songs. But that's kind of tough. That's like saying, okay, here's a car, go drive it. Honestly, I recommend looking up beginner tutorials just to understand how the program works. I'm gonna eventually be making one of those as well, so Ableton for total beginners. A really great way to start, honestly, is to remix a song. So find the acapella to a song and build a beat around it. It doesn't have to be good, but even if you have some kind of structure to begin with, then you can kind of get an idea of how Ableton works. You can figure out what sounds go well together and just take it from there. Is there any free music making software that you can recommend? Well, the best ones are all paid, but I swear there is a way to get around paying them. I'm not advocating for anything, But to be honest, there are some really generous free trials for some of the industry standard like FL and Ableton. If you're looking more for the free side of things, I think Reaper is a really good free option, but I personally haven't used it myself because I am just a little Ableton simp. Download a few trials, figure out which workflow you like the best out of each one, and just go from there. What's your day-to-day schedule like? YouTube, own music, etc., etc. As of right now, I have been doing a couple of weeks where I am strictly writing music and writing videos, so I'm not filming, I'm not editing. Generally, the first 2 weeks of every month, I'll be making music, just having fun in Ableton, doing my thing, and then whichever songs I like, I see if any of them can turn into a video. On days where I'm not really feeling music, I'll just write scripts. As long as I can get them super well thought out, then in a week I can film 3 or 4 videos and spend the next week and a half editing them, and hopefully that gives me enough to do videos for the month. But if you've noticed, this channel has been lacking on videos because I am this winter has been super tough on me, and I think this whole panorama is finally catching up to me. I think there was a full week where I just didn't sleep at all, and every day I didn't feel like doing anything. But today's not one of those days, so we're doing it. How to get my music on TikTok? Oh no.
What up? We're back with another DistroKid sponsor! And you know it's the perfect time for me to jump in, because if you want to get your songs on the #1 app no one's ever heard of, the best way to do it is through DistroKid. When you upload on DistroKid, yes, you get your songs on Spotify, Apple Music, but you also get them on apps like TikTok. It's as easy as going here, uploading art, picking a date, and hitting upload. Then in a few days, bam! You're live.
You gotta stop doing that. You're gonna get us demonetized.
Doesn't matter. This is a DistroKid sponsorship. Tomato eating well tonight.
I mean, true.
Go ahead. Tell them about the VIP link.
If you use my VIP link, you get 7% off your first year of DistroKid. Link is in the description below.
I'm tired.
I bet. Next question. How to make Fuji Opener. That's a Skrillex one, right? We're gonna go ahead and skip that one. What should I do if I feel like my music isn't getting anywhere? Oh man, that's a heavy one. When I'm in a musical rut, I like listening to new music or looking for new music, stuff I don't normally listen to, or I look up what my favorite artists are doing and see if they're creating any music. I try to find inspiration. I don't wait for inspiration to hit me. I go looking for it. So that's a really important thing as well. I think the other day I was also in just a total musical rut, and I ended up just downloading a lot of live sets from Ultra and EDC, just of my favorite artists. Full sets, something to listen to that's an hour long, and anything that would pop up to me, I would start writing down what I liked about it, and then when I opened up Ableton, then I can try and incorporate some of the cool things that I've heard. That's how I do it. You can probably find your own way as well, but the idea is to not wait for inspiration to hit you, but look for it yourself. And in turn, that helps you create better music. It'll make you more proud of the music that you make as well. If you feel like your music's not getting anywhere, a good place to start is to be happy with the music that you make. And to do that, I look for inspiration. Remember to cut the lows on the kicks, Ash. Thank you, Rukam. I will do that. Can you do serum tutorials for major genres, i.e. future bass, slap house, dubstep, pop? Sure. How it came to your mind to make it in music production? That's Music production was the only thing I could spend 16 to 20 hours a day doing and not hate it. Over my entire life, I've gone to school for a bunch of different subjects, held several jobs, and the one commonality, or the one thing I would keep coming back to, I'm telling you, I did a bunch of stuff. I was in school for graphic design at first, then I went to school for business and advertising, then I worked in a bank for a bit, I worked a bunch of food places as well, and the commonality throughout all of that, and like this is before I even decided, I'm like, oh, I want to do music production. The only thing that I did that I would spend my free time on was music production. And I'm like, well, if this is something I really enjoy doing, then I'm gonna learn as much as I can about it and really nerd out on it. Can you give a detailed video on mixing and mastering? Soon. Elenium or Porter Robinson? Porter Robinson. Easy. Whew. And we got through all of those. Thank you guys so much for sending those questions in. If you have any more questions, honestly, comment them below. I'll do another one of these types of videos. If you like this type of video, hit it with that like, subscribe to the channel if you learned something. It really helps me out. It is really good to see you guys again. Other than that, go follow my socials, support me on Patreon. But if you'd rather support for free, like I said, just like, subscribe to the video. Other than that, thanks for hanging out. I'll catch y'all later. Peace!